So we're hanging out with this 2004 Nissan Pathfinder LE. 2004 3.5 liter valve covers are leaking. And it's one I did a long time ago. It's my own personal car, so I thought I'd shoot another video, hopefully a little more thorough and a little better quality than the first one, and maybe actually get all the parts, um, all the procedures in there correctly. But the 3.5 liter, and you can see it's been probably, I don't know, about 6 years or more. And I've taken this little air filter assembly off this coil out right here. I'm going to put plugs in it too, because you can see the side of it there, and it's worn quite a bit on the sides. So anyway, that. Put a set of spark plugs in it. So let's go ahead and get this air cleaner snorkel right here, and probably take this whole assembly out of the way. Get everything stacked up here. Let's zoom on in to what we're doing. Go from there. Okay, the little air intake boot right here, and a little clip right there. Now for room and all of that, you may not have to do it, but you can take this whole box out. 10 mil down here, 10 mil right here. Let's take this cover off the top too. A bunch of 10 millimeter nuts and bolts there. Wished I had some grommets for this air filter housing, but I don't. For this one side. Oh, there's another nut or another bolt on the inside right there. I'll probably readjust the camera to the other side there, get a better view. All right, let's take this little hose off right here. Tuck it over there. Oh, I feel like I'm getting a cold today. We got miscellaneous wires coming in here and things hooking to it. I'm going to remove that throttle body, maybe with pinching off the antifreeze lines that are going to it. Sometimes you could just take the whole throttle body off and you could set it off the side, but not in this case on this particular car. You're not going to get away with that. There. Let's go ahead and unplug this right here. get this one vacuum line off the top here for the brake booster. Take that oil dipstick out of there so we're not dealing with that. Looks like we got some Allen screws on that throttle body if we take it off that way, or we can just take it off with the intake so we don't have to unbolt it. So let's take it off with the intake so we don't have to unbolt it and start taking some of that stuff off of there. Now if you start them back in there, you're not hunting for them to try to figure out where they go back. You can keep yourself on track. Vacuum hose off right here. We got a wiring harness coming right up here to this clip right here, and we got a 10 mil right underneath it. I'm going to take the 10 mil that's right underneath it off. That way it pulls that right out of there. I like it. I like that. Now we'll go to cross this intake. Those are going to be 12s all over the top of that thing. I'm going to split it right down the middle, and then we're going to take it off through the bottom and pull it up out of these things. Really good. They really work you out to do anything to a Nissan. They're a lot of work. Right underneath it, underneath that bracket right there. Now there's some brackets over here. Let's just take a look at it. All right on the side of this intake, a bunch of tins. Hang on. Better picture right there. They got to come out sooner or later. try a short 10mm socket on that, get a little closer. All right, so got those up. I know we got one in the back corner back there. Well, more than one back there. Now I ordered valve covers. This particular set I ordered on Amazon that is coming. Because it's an old car, it's not worth a lot of money. One more 12 back here, way down it. If I don't get the hood to fall on my head, we'll be all right. We've got movement. It's a bracket right here in the front. Let's go for it. People always wanting to buy this old Nissan from me. It needs paint work, but overall, I mean, it runs good. And mechanically, obviously, it's in good shape. Let's see. I know there's that one hose that's coming for that other coolant line in the back. I'm going to get another pinch tool back up in there. Pinch it off here. I only got this big one. You know, antifreeze all over your floor can drive you a little bit crazy. At least I don't like it slopping in it. I've done it so many times, I still do, but it's not something I want to do. Now if I can just reach the clamp that's holding that on down there. I like these wide needle nose here. They work pretty good. Ah. Sometimes you can just pry those things out of there. Keeps messing with me. We'll do this thing another way. Just like I said, we'll do this thing another way. I'm going to get skinny long needle nose and try to slide the spring clamp right off of it. Now I'll change directions again. That worked. I can show you that in a minute. Now, one intake. And pause and put the screws back in place where they go and some of the nuts. Okay, with that stuff started back on, now we go back to the lower intake. This is the upper plenum. Now the lower plenum. Get a little longer extension. And a deeper socket. It's a bracket right there. I just wanted to see if there was a bolt all the way in the back, because there should be. Not seeing it. Okay, well, let's go after this bracket right here on the very back at 12 mil right there. See if we can get this thing to rock and roll a little bit. Move up. Two little 12s back there. Hard to get to. Haven't quite got those out yet, but I do find this one right here. You see that? We've got movement. I want to take this wiring harness and start unplugging some of these. The older I get, the weaker my hands get. Or maybe it's everybody, but harder to unplug this stuff. Right, I just want to see how that connects. We're going to get that green connector out of that little clip. Now you got these little connectors holding the wire to that bracket. Just gotta get this bracket completely out of our way. Got this one bolt right here. That's what I had to get some room to. Hiding back there on that bracket in the far back passenger side corner. And they make it very difficult. So I'm seeing what the best way is to get to that. Okay, so a ratchet wrench is too fat. And the angle of that's not real good, but I think we can get it this way now. All that for that one bolt back there. Now the angle of that wrench is too long. There's probably a better way to get to this, and I'll be able to see that bracket better when we get it apart. Mm-hmm. Just trying not to drop my wrench. Here we go. Now let's see if this piece will come up out of there. See, we got some other lines bolted to it, coming across the bottom. Oh, we're all right. So from there, we got a vacuum hose right here. Right there. I think that gets our bottom piece. There we go. And this goes across to the PCV valve across the back. That line is hard as heck. It's going to get a new line put on that. Again, pause. Put my nuts and bolts and things like that back in the slots. Okay. The fuel line's coming off here. And then we got coils and some wires and some things like that. Got a VVT solenoid right there that looks to me like will be maybe easier to take that off. I'm going to have to take that VVT off right there to get that valve cover out. That's right there. I'll probably go ahead and take these tins out right here for this. But that line on the back, sorry, it was a 14 and a 19 right where it connected here to the back side down here for this hose right here. Let's see, I think that line's good, just chucked out of the way there. Fuel return. Yeah, I talk to myself. It helps a whole lot. Let's get a Phillips screwdriver, take that line out of there. Almost there. Coil wire, coil wire, coil wire. Let's take that out. The wire harness right there. All right, let's pause because I should be covering that intake up right here. Well, not pause, but let's do that. Let's get our coils and see if there's any oil down inside these. Dry. Dry. That's amazing. And dry. This hose coming across here usually breaks. Clamp right there holding our little line in right there. Another one down here. I'd like to change this one, but I'm not sure the availability of it right now. It came off pretty good. From valve cover to valve cover. Looking at that pressure regulator right there. Seeing if we could spin it just enough out of my way to get to the VVT that's underneath it. That looks good. Careful with that. So you don't bend her too far, you're going to break your fuel rail. I just moved it up a little bit, but be very careful with that, or you will. Could pull the fuel injectors out. One more to get to though, so might not be able to have to. VVT solenoid. Let's find the plug for that. It's way back here, so let's check the gasket. And let's tuck it down underneath for right now. Out of the way. Now, I'll remember those three. I hold that on along with that bracket that just fell down. We'll get that in a second. Got a bunch of tins to take out to get the valve cover out. I think we're just about to get ourselves enough room to do that. Let's take some of them out while we're here. Shouldered bolts. Quarter-inch stuff would be nice about now. Let's see how this works. Well, let's go with the 1/4 inch. Let's go with a swivel and extension and see how things work with that. Right down there in that corner is another 10. I'll try to go through the heater hoses and up and around to it down there. Oh, great. There went my swivel socket. Grab another one till I can find it later. I believe that one's out of there. Probably best to use a magnet, but I think I've got it. I'll go at it. Another 10 down through here. That one went to the floor. I think I've got them all. So we're going to lift that valve cover up out of there. See how far we can get it out of there. Without having to pull anything else. Let's see. Twist it that way. So that's going to be the trick. Oh. Tight getting by that fuel stuff. The spark plug tube seals are built into the valve cover and should not be attempted to replace it. They're hard as a brick. So new valve covers. And this thing is starting to annoy me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the fuel rail and go ahead and move it up out of our way. Quit trying to fight around it. So I need some injector O-rings. Big deal. That's going to give you a whole lot more room. And like I said, fighting around that, and you can just sit here and unplug all your injectors right on down the line. So let's get my little fancy little wire connector grabber and let's get that disconnected. And that's all we need to do is twist it up out of the way. We'll get some new O-rings for all of this stuff. New O-rings on there, injectors. And that makes it just a whole lot easier getting that valve cover up out of this side. Not fighting over all that stuff. Now let's take a look at the other side. Got my cooling line pinched off right there. Move it to that side. We got some wiring and some brackets and some this and some that and some other to go after. We got some wiring harnesses up here that are all going to need to be unplugged right there so we can take that bracket out of there. Let's have a look. All right, we got a 10 there, some 10s, and some valve covers, some coils to take off right there. Ten on a wiring bracket. Another 10. Once we get these wires out of the way, we'll be like home free. Let's see if there's oil down there. No oil in that tube seal. And no oil in that one, but it don't matter. It would probably not long before there would be. Just putting those inside on the floorboard. Closer look, see how we're doing. I'm going to take this bracket right here and pull it forward. Like so. All right, so we're going to disconnect some of these wires here and get these things up out of the way. Wires and hoses and all kinds of things. There's a 10 millimeter bracket on the back of that valve cover holding the wiring harness in. Okay. There's a hose coming up around there. This crazy hose right here. I wonder. I was wondering if we unbolted it, that would make it easier on us right there. I'm going to. 10 millimeter nut on that. A couple of them right there. Oh yeah, we could take that line off right there now. Now let's start these right back on there. Ow! That hurt. Man, oh man. I do have spring clamps holders. Okay. All right. So we got to get that disconnected. Okay. Looks like there's some water running through that one. So let's get another pinch off tool if I can find one and crimp that line out. All right, so I put a pinch off on that and I got to peel that thing out. I had the hood just about fall on my head. But this is antifreeze, it's a heater hose. So there we go. If we put it up high, the antifreeze won't run out of it. So we've got it out of the way. Let's don't hit the hood prop so I don't end up on my head. Hoses, that's a cam sensor I think going down behind the back of the motor. There, I can tuck it up out of the way. All right, so now we got that out of the way. Everything kind of coming together. VVT right there. Do 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 do. I think that oil filter housing. You all right? Whoa. There we go. We'll just put that off to the side. So I got some gaskets to order. All this VVT solenoid gaskets and things like that. You can see she's pretty wet on the top right there. We'll get this thing out of here. There we go. I'm just going to set it right there for now. Like I said, all this stuff is tucked back. Now we're right here. We are ready to pull out a valve cover. Readjust the camera, going after the valve cover bolts. At least I think I am. Instead of VVT, I don't know if I shot a picture of me taking that off, but it's out of there. Don't need a swivel for this part. It actually makes it harder. Yeah, the Nissan valve covers, I think, for this were like $300 a piece. Oh, yep, I knew I'd hit it. Oh, fuck. All right. I gotta move the camera so I can reach out back here. Oh. Wow. I keep trying to hit myself in the head. That's twice. Let's keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. That's going to work really well. So we'll take it apart today and put it together tomorrow. Right here. Because we're going to be waiting on parts. But oh, one back there in that back corner. I knew that. There we are, driver's side valve cover. I'm just going to yank the spark plugs out of it, wait for parts, and then you'll see us putting it back together.